Hello everybody, the Quiet Atheist here yet again with another very interesting video for you guys today. Now, before I get into anything regarding this video, as usual, I do want to let you all know that all relevant information will be provided in the description down below for everybody to take a look at, just in case you guys are interested. Now, when it comes to this video that I'm making for you guys today, I thought that I would talk about the decline of religion, and not only in the United States, but all over the world as well. And that is why I felt motivated to share this article with you guys in the first place. Now, the article starts off by saying an ongoing spate of recent studies looking at various countries around the world all show the same thing. Religion is in decline. From Scandinavia to South America and from Vancouver to Seoul, the world is experiencing an unprecedented wave of secularization. Indeed, as a recent National Geographic report confirms, the world's newest religion is no religion. Consider the latest facts. For the first time in Norwegian history, there are more atheists and agnostics than believers in God. For the first time in British history, there are now more atheists and agnostics than believers in God, and church attendance rates in the UK are at an all-time low, with less than 2% of British men and women attending church on any given Sunday. A recent survey found that 0% of Icelanders believe that God created the earth. That's correct, 0%. And whereas 20 years ago, 90% of Icelanders claimed to be religious, today less than 50% claim to be. Nearly 70% of the Dutch are not affiliated with any religion, and approximately 700 Protestant churches and over 1,000 Catholic churches are expected to close within the next few years throughout the Netherlands due to low attendance. According to a recent Eurobarometer poll, 19% of Spaniards, 24% of Danes, 26% of Slovenians, 27% of Germans and Belgians, 34% of Swedes, and 40% of the French claim to not believe in any sort of spirit, God, or life force. In the United States, somewhere between 23% and 28% of American adults have no religious affiliation, and these so-called nones are not only growing in number, but they are becoming increasingly secular in their behaviors and beliefs. Among millennials, Americans in their 20s, over 35% are non-religious, constituting the largest cohort of secular men and women in the nation's history. In Canada, back in 1991, 12% of adults stated none. When asked their religion today, that is up to 24%. In Australia, 15% of the population said they had no religion in 2001, and it is up to at least 22% today. In New Zealand, 30% of the population claimed no religion in 2001, but it had risen to 42% in 2013. In South America, 7% of men and women in Mexico, 8% in Brazil, 11% in Argentina, 12% in El Salvador, 16% in Chile, 18% in the Dominican Republic, and 37% in Uruguay are non-religious. The highest such rates of Latin American secularization ever recorded, guys. And this is fucking awesome. In Japan, about 70% of adults claim to hold personal religious beliefs 60 years ago, but today that figure is down to only about 20%. In 1970, there were 96,000 Buddhist temples throughout Japan, but in 2007, there were 75,866, and around 20,000 of those were unstaffed, with no resident priest. In the 1950s, over 75% of Japanese households had a kamidana Shinto altar, I believe, but by 2006, this was down to 44% nationwide and only 26% in major cities. While 11% of South Koreans were atheists in 2005, that has increased to at least 15% as of late, and the percentage of South Koreans who described themselves as religious has dropped from 58% to 52% over the past decade. Over 50% of Chinese adults are secular, although in communist dictatorships where religion is officially oppressed, valid information on people's religiosity is always hard to come by. In Africa, while religiosity remains high, there are none the less growing pockets of irreligion, over 5% of those in Ghana, claim to have no religion, and 9% of people in Madagascar and Tanzania, and 11% of people in Gabon, I believe, and Swaziland are now non religious. Approximately 20% of Botswanans now claim to have no religion. Over 20% of Jamaicans are now non religious. Many other nations contain significant populations of non religious people, such as Slovenia, Israel, Finland, Hungary, Russia, Azerbaijan, I believe, Kazakhstan, etc. But a nation by nation breakdown is not possible here. Suffice it to say that most countries have experienced notable degrees of secularization over the past century, and for the first time in the world's history, there are now many societies where being secular is more common than being religious. Although openly supporting atheism is sometimes punished in some Muslim majority countries, in fact, in 13 Islamic countries, atheism is a crime warranting the death penalty. There are still numerous signs of growing secularism throughout the Muslim world, although reliable numbers are hard to come by. Finally, the sheer number of secular men and women on planet Earth is unprecedented. According to the new Pew Research Center's latest estimates, there were over 1.1 billion non religious people in the world in 2010, and that number is expected to increase to over 1.2 billion by the year 2020. Will this tidal wave of secularization continue to wash over the planet Earth? Hard to say for sure. But guys, I wanted to share this with you because, like I said before, this is good news. You know, more people are actually throwing these pathetic fairy tales away left and right. And we see this not only in this country, but all around the world. And I have to admire the people in the Middle East for, basically throwing these religions away, this fucking nonsense away, because at the same time they are actually risking their lives, especially when it comes to Islam. Islam is probably the most savage religion that we are dealing with today, to be honest, because if you are found out to be an atheist, you can literally be hacked to death, you can literally be beheaded, and these people like to intimidate others through fear with this fairy tale. It's simply fucking nonsense. But at the same time, I'm actually surprised because it seems to me that the numbers for secular people leaving these religions are actually increasing. And like I said before, it surprises me when it comes to Islam because of how barbaric this religion really is. The numbers are rising for secular people, the numbers are rising for atheists. And it's something that I actually hope will increase faster and faster and faster, because the more that people become rational, the more that people start to throw these fairy tales away, the better off the world will be. And people will start to develop a good passion for their fellow human beings. They will start to develop a good passion for humanity in general. And that is a good thing. That is what I actually want. I want people to be able to have the opportunity to come to a rational conclusion, if you will, for once. Because we see how religion does, not only in this country, but all over the world. Its brutality is well known. This fairy tale is well known for its nonsense. All over the country, all over the world, plain and simple. We see this all of the time, every single day. And I'm actually glad, like I said, that the numbers are actually rising when it comes to people leaving these ridiculous fairy tales. And I am actually happy to know that, secularism is on the rise. This is something that I continue to talk about all of the time, every chance that I get. And that is why I'm extremely happy to share this article with you, because again, this is good news. This is something that I look forward to share with you guys each and every single time I find these articles. So naturally, you guys know that I am automatically going to share this with you. I'm not even going to hesitate at all in any way, shape, or form. I am going to immediately drop what I am doing if possible, just to make videos like this, to share this with you, because again, it does make me happy. I do want to share this with you guys. I do want to get this information out there as quick as possible so that more people can actually become aware of these things, you know? But like I said, let me know, how you guys feel about this in the comment section down below. I would really be interested. Till next time, I will see you later and be safe.